And to talk more about this is Dr. Noel Muadiamvita, who is a former DRC presidential candidate and former country director at the World Bank. He joins us now on the line from the capital, Kinshasa, to share his views about the significant milestone for the country. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for taking the time. As you heard in that ceremonial statement, that this now makes the East Africa economic bloc or region the same size as the European Union, including in population as well. Do you agree with this?
Yes. Yes, hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Muadiamvita.
Yes. In fact, it's a major development in the East African community, but also in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. On the face of it, it's a positive development in the sense that Congo will be joining hands with other countries from the eastern side of Africa to create the largest market, if I can say, which is comparable to European countries. So the opportunities which will be offered by these East African community, including the DRC today, those opportunities are much greater than what the DRC alone could offer to the people of the Congo. So we are delighted from the side. But what we have to keep in mind is that we are joining hands with countries such as Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda, which not long ago had tried to invade the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So the wounds are still very fresh. So many people in the Congo are still very anxious to know exactly if this is going to be a positive development for us, or if we are going to take opportunity of these larger markets, including the market of other 6 countries which we have just joined now. So the question is, what does the DRC going to gain and offer? We are offering a bigger market, about 107 million people. We are offering all the natural resources that we've been producing. We are the richest country in all this community, but at the same time, we are not very much developed from the industrial point of view. So we are not producing much of the semi-finished or finished product, which we can export to these countries. And we know that those countries such as Tanzania, Kenya, and even Uganda, even Rwanda, have done a lot of reforms which have put their economies in much better shape than the economy of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So the fear that we have here is that we might end up being the follower instead of being the leader, or instead of being in the lead. So that caused some anxiety among the Congolese people. And at the same time, we are very much concerned about the security. As you know, as we speak today, in the East, there is a lot of insecurity on the Congolese side. We've called on the Ugandan to come and help us. So far, the results are still very far from the objective that we want to reach. But at the same time, we know that there is a rebel group called M23, a rebel group which is, in our view, sponsored and supported by the Rwandan government. So how can we be part of one Eastern community at the same time with the countries which are attacking or sponsoring rebellion against the Congolese people? So those are the questions which are still raising a lot of anxiety, and we have to see where President Tshisekedi is taking us, if this is the right way or if we are making a mistake.
Perhaps before we go deeper into some of those very important issues that you've highlighted, I want to go back to what was said at the signing ceremony. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta saying to get to this point, the DRC has taken strong leadership and commitment to the ideals of the AAC integration agenda and a clear understanding of the shared benefits that come from working together. Now, you've mentioned some very important, some of them very divergent views. So by signing the Treaty of Accession, it marks the formal entry of the DRC into the EAC. But what conditions did it have to satisfy, particularly under Article 3 and 4 of the treaty?
Well, first of all, I would say that the joining of the Democratic Republic of the Congo into the East African community seemed to be a much more a political move made by President Tshisekedi for reasons that he knows himself. But for the people of the Congo here, nobody talks about these East African community, and many people don't even understand the benefits that we might get from it. We have to keep in mind that countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda have much more advanced infrastructure than the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Once one moves from those countries to reach the Democratic Republic of the Congo, you come to realize that we have no roads, no...
It seems like we've unfortunately lost our connection to our guest there, but hopefully we will get him back. Dr. Noel Muadiamvita, who is a former presidential candidate in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and speaking about the importance of the DRC joining the East Africa community, saying that a lot of residents or citizens of the DRC are still asking the questions about the significant importance of this. So, of course, you know, the Democratic Republic of Congo is mineral rich. Some have called it resources a curse. As you heard Dr. Muadiamvita mention there, that some of the countries of which it's joining in the EAC are those who have been directly involved in the decades-long ongoing conflict in the DRC, the Great Lakes region. It's been said that it's because of the mineral resource wealth of the DRC that you've had more than 100 rebel groups, some of them who are have been directly linked, in fact, say they have allegiance to Uganda and Rwanda, and you'd remember Burundi at some point. Dr. Noel Muadiamvita is back with us, former presidential candidate and former country director at the World Bank, to speak about this. So just before we got cut off, you were saying that many people are still unsure, and I was talking about the mineral wealth of the DRC, which you pointed to as well, how this has been the source of conflict because of external parties or actors who have wanted to rob the country of its resources. And you were saying it's important for the DRC to explain to its citizenry why this is significant, why it's important, what it will bring for them in terms of development.
Yeah, for many people in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, we do recognize that we have great potential for development. We have all those mineral riches, agricultural potential, tourism, and so on and so forth. But because of poor governance over the years, this country does not have the basic infrastructure. Electricity and water are still available to less than 10% of the population. All the provinces of the country are not linked by good roads nor railroads. Airports are in a very bad shape. So, which means that when somebody comes from Kenya, Tanzania, or Uganda, or even Rwanda, you reach the Congolese border, you realize that there is a big hole in the center of Africa made of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So the question is, by joining hands with countries which are much more advanced, what do we offer to those countries which will make the people of the Congo benefit from the integration into the East African community? Many people don't have the answer for now. So we do believe that if we accelerate development and we do the reforms that those countries in the East have already made, such as Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, and you reach a stage where we can say we are comfortable, of course, we will benefit from greater markets. But if we don't have the reforms done so far, I believe that we appear like the poor child in a big family, and therefore those who are much more advanced are going to benefit more than we, the people of the Congo, will benefit from this economic integration. So that's one side. I will give a very specific example. Recently, there is a bank from Kenya, which is called the Equity Bank, which came and took over the largest bank in the Congo, which is called the SABC. So we are into the economic East African community, where we are even being invaded by banks from other countries, and all the sectors of the economy do present the same weaknesses. So therefore, we have to be extremely careful if we are going to benefit from this economic integration, instead of being just an open market for the product made in other countries and where the Congo will have very little to offer to the other countries. And particularly, we have to keep in mind that the advantage that we have is to have natural resources, the minerals. The mineral riches, they are exported most of the time to Western countries, China, the United States. So we are going to offer very little to those countries, which could be used as source of revenues for the Democratic Republic of the Congo to create jobs and opportunities for the people of the Congo.
So I want to focus on this particular point. The point has been made that some of the DRC's neighbors, particularly Uganda, and we just looking at the resources that the DRC has, as we mentioned, cobalt, copper, there's tin, there is diamonds, there's cobalt, saying that the DRC's neighbors have become, have increased their market in natural resources they themselves don't have. So the question has to be begged, where do these mineral resources come from? So in just navigating these waters, I mean, President Tshisekedi was saying the DRC renews the commitment made to work so that they can increase their participation, increase optimizing the agro-economical activities and opportunities of cooperation. So how would it do this without being exploited in the wrong way that would not benefit the people of the DRC?
Yes, those are very important questions, but I would say that in the long run, if the DRC makes the necessary reforms, build basic infrastructure such as road, water, electricity, making it available to most of the people of the Congo, and putting in place a good environment to attract the foreign investment into the Congo so that we can create this productive sector, which does not exist today. Of course, in the long run, we will benefit from our membership into the East African community, the same way as we would benefit from other economic communities such as the SADC or the Central African Economic Community, which includes also countries in the center of Africa. But in the short run, immediately, I would say that the countries which will benefit more from this membership or from this union are those which have already made the necessary reforms to create a productive sector locally. You will find that Rwanda has done a lot of reforms over the last 10 years. Uganda, the same thing, Tanzania and Kenya. Where we are today, we are starting to do the reform that the other countries have done 10 years ago. So we will not be on the same level of competition within the union. They will benefit more immediately if we do the necessary stuff. I believe that in the long run, we might benefit. The question is, will we survive into this Eastern African community? I give two examples. I gave the example of banks. We are being invaded by banks from Kenya. airline sector, Kenya Airways and Rwandan Air have taken over almost the market of the Congo. And Congo does not have reliable airline companies to be competing against those which have made tremendous progress in the past. We can go in every single sector. The industrial sector is the same thing. So my fear is that we will become just a consumption market, while them, they are the production center, producing products that we'll consume, but us will not be in a position to produce locally to go and take advantage of this market.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Dr. Noel Muadiamvita, and hopefully we'll have more times to unpack some of these issues individually. Former presidential candidate and former country director at the World Bank, speaking about the momentous occasion of the DRC signing the accession accord into the East Africa